Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. A'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina. Alhamdulillahi nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم وبعد. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed devil. All praises are due to Allah, and we seek His help and His forgiveness. We seek refuge with Allah from the evil of our own souls and from our own bad deeds. And whomsoever Allah guides will never be led astray. And whomsoever Allah allows to be astray, no one can guide. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship except Allah, the one, having no partners or associates with him. And I bear witness that Muhammad is his slave, servant, and messenger. Peace and blessings be upon him. So be it. I greet you in the ancient greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
My subject today is Inkadu Falina al-Atami. That's Inkadu at Falina al-Tami, or translated as saving our fatherless children. The contextual verse for this subject is found in Surah Al-Baqarah, the cow, chapter 2, verse 177. Bismillah. Very popular ayah. It is not righteousness that you turn your faces towards the east or the west, but true righteousness is in one who believes in Allah, the last day, the angels, the book, and the prophets, and gives his wealth in spite of the love for it to relatives, fatherless children, the yatim, the needy, the traveler, those who ask for help, and for freeing slaves, and who establishes prayer and gives a zakat, to those who fulfill their promises when they promise, and those who are patient in poverty and in hardship and during battle. Those are the ones who have been true, and it is those who are the righteous. Let me give you my own personal testimony here. I was a fatherless child. I call myself Ishma'il because my mother's husband abandoned her while she was delivering me at the hospital, which reminded me of the story of Hagar and Ishmael in the Bible of the Quran. She remarried a man that was abusive to her and me, but another man started showing up in my life, Reverend John Carter, at the age of 14, claiming that he was my real father. I didn't really know until recently through a DNA test with another family member that he was in fact my real father. My sibling didn't even know that I had a doubt because someone else was on my birth certificate. I loved Reverend Carter, but he could not be a father he needed to be because he had 11 other children that we know of. As a result, I became a teenage father at a young age. At the age of 17, I remember my mother telling me to break the curse off the family, not to be reckless with my seed and having babies all over town like Reverend Carter did. Because by the time I was 18, I had 2 kids by 2 different women. That's okay, because if it wasn't for the qadr, or the destiny of Allah, having me join the military at the age of 19 and finding Islam, Allahu Akbar, I would have probably been dead or in prison. Just another statistic in Black America. I remember making it to age 20 and saying, Alhamdulillah, all praise is due to Allah, that I made it that far. I didn't think I would make it because the neighborhood I was in was full of drugs and guns. And a lot of fatherless children. And most of my friends, including my younger brother, ended up in prison or dead. Mashallah, Allah had something else planned for me. As a member of the yatim, or fatherless children, mentioned in the Quran, as so many black children in America, Surah Al-Baqarah chapter 2, verse 177, highlights that true righteousness is not merely in performing outward rituals, but it also demonstrated through acts of kindness, generosity, support towards various segments of society, including the yatim or fatherless children. It emphasizes the importance of using one's wealth and resources to help those in need, including fatherless children, the yatim, as a way of fulfilling our responsibility, striving towards righteousness in the sight of Allah. The term yatim, you usually see it translated as orphan. And the word yatim used in the Quran refers to a minor child who doesn't have or loses their father before reaching adulthood. That's what the word actually means. This definition is supported by Al-Ragib and Ibn Mansur in their respective works. According to them, the loss of the mother does not render a child a yatim, but rather a munqati, or something that's broken. As the father is considered the primary breadwinner, sustainer, and caregiver. This differs from the common English usage of the word orphan, as defined in Oxford Dictionary, which refers to a child whose parents are deceased. Yatim would include that, but it doesn't limit it to that. The mention of fatherless children, or yatim, is mentioned in the Quran in a total of 23 times across 22 different verses. The term al-yatim, the orphan, in the Quran, you'll find it in verses like 6:152, 17:34, 89:17, 93:9, 107:2, if you want to cross-reference that later. In its singular form is yatim in surahs 76:8, 90:15, 93:6, and yatimain and 14 times as al-yatama. So you'll see this form in various ways in the Quran, but mentioned 23 times. These references of fatherless children, the yatim, are found both in Meccan and Medina surahs of the Quran, indicating the universality of this topic. The presence of legislative injunction, ahkam, in the Medina chapters further emphasize the importance of caring for fatherless children, the yatim, and fulfilling their rights. We recognize that millions of children throughout our nation who are growing up without fathers. part of it. Mass incarceration is part of it. Did you know that there are more than 400,000 American children and youth living in foster care? These kids deserve to grow up in safe and loving homes where they can be healthy, happy, and successful. But when we extend the definition to the Quran, the use of the word yatim, or fatherless children, mean a fatherless child. That number gets much bigger when we spend beyond foster care. Foster care, 400,000. But when we extend it to fatherless children, according to the U.S. Census Bureau of 2022, which is pretty recent, there are approximately 18.3 million children across America who live without a father in their home, comprising about 1 out of 4 children. That's across the board, all races. 1 in 4 without a father. There's various reasons for that. Fatherless youth eventually become adults who, without structure of a two-parent household, struggle to gain their foothold in the world. Not saying it's impossible, but it's a struggle. The struggle is harder. These staggering statistics have not only destroyed the nuclear family, but has devastated communities across the nation. For example, 85% of the children and teens with behavior disorders come from fatherless homes, according to statistics. And over 70% of all adolescent patients in drug and alcohol treatment centers originate from homes without fathers. We know that fatherhood is essential to the development of our children, and the increased involvement of fathers in the home leads to better results on a wide variety of outcomes. From economic prosperity, increased academic performance, to improve social mobility, fathers in their respective homes continue to be the key indicator of success for all children across racial, ethnic, and socio-economic groups. That is why we as Muslims should promote fatherhood and its proven benefit to society. We should be about fatherhood. There is little doubt that America is experiencing an unprecedented fatherless crisis. Approximately 80% of single-parent homes are led by single mothers, according to a 2022 U.S. Census Bureau report. Therefore, leading to nearly 25% of our youth growing up without a father in their home. The statistics even more staggering for black children, with 70% living with a single mother, according to blackdemographics.com. Sadly, fatherless families are 4 times more likely to raise children in poverty, according to U.S. Census Bureau 2020. And research suggests that 84% of homeless families are headed by women, single mothers. We got to do something about the yatim, the fatherless children. And our talks about Tawheed, Salat, Zakat, fasting during Ramadan, Hajj, these are all good things, are the pillars of our faith. But we got to talk about and address the issue of the yatim, of fatherless children. Because almost every chapter in the Quran mentions it. As America deals with a rise in crime, substance abuse, incarceration, decreased social mobility, economic strains, we must acknowledge the impact that fatherlessness has had on all these issues. We must recognize how we, as fathers, empower, teach, and develop our children plays a direct role in their well-being, mental health, and the ability to persevere through adversity. Studies have shown that children who grow up without a father or with limited parental involvement may face various challenges, including lower educational attainment, higher rates of incarceration, and a greater likelihood of experiencing poverty. These are not insurmountable. We can overcome it with patient perseverance, tenacity, but it's going to be hard. Perhaps we can marry some of these single mothers and make them wives and help them with some of these children. Yes, it's a thankless job, but you will get great reward from Allah taking these women on and filling in as fathers for these children. Even though there are many kind of foster parents out here, children in foster care often have a tough time reaching their full potential as well. You see, many of them have experienced bad things when they were young, which can leave them with physical and emotional scars. These scars can make them more likely to have mental health problems or turn to drugs and alcohol. Perhaps we can become foster parents or adopt some of these children. If you don't have the capacity for that, perhaps you can become a mentor or join the boys or girls club or starting our own organization to reach out to these kids and become an example and a guiding light to them. Everybody don't have the capacity to be a foster parent or an adopted kid. You might not even have the financial means to do it, but maybe you can be a mentor. It's even harder for children of color who end up in the foster care system. Did you know 1 in 9 black children and 1 in 7 Native American children spend part of their childhood in foster care? That's not fair, right? It shows that there are some problems in this system that we need to get fixed. So there's individual things we can do, and there's some things we can do. Talk to our city councilman, the mayor, the law, whoever we need to talk to see if we can get this problem addressed. When we talk about the yatim or fatherless children, we need to remember these kids in foster care too. As Muslims, we have a duty to care for the vulnerable people, including the yatim, the fatherless children, and children in foster care, which is included in the yatim. We need to learn about their struggles and find ways to help them. We can start by spreading awareness, supporting foster care programs, and getting involved in our communities to create safe and loving homes for these children. By doing this, we can follow the teachings of Islam and make a positive difference in the lives of these deserving children. Let's work together to show them compassion and justice, just like our religion teaches us. And we can adopt a kid, not legally, but spiritually and emotionally. We can adopt a kid by focusing on the child and give them love and support. I recall I would see single mothers at the masjid. I would gravitate to 1 or 2 of the kids. They start calling me pops or I'll make sure I have candy in my pocket, give them candy. Just show them. Sometimes they just need somebody that shows interest. They start telling me all the issues and problems. Then we'll know how to help them. So you can adopt a kid, not from a legal standpoint, but from a spiritual, emotional, social standpoint. The impact of positive role models are great. Stress the importance of positive role models in a child's life and encourage members of the community to step forward and become mentors or foster parents to provide guidance and support to them. That's something that we can do as well. 3, there's a power in collective responsibility. We are reminded the Islamic principle of collective responsibility. As a Jumat, as an Ummah, we're collectively responsible for the orphans. All right? And the Quran is replete with verses after verses. The Quran talks about it is not righteous that you turn your face to the east and the west. And it mentions orphan as one of the signs of the righteous, how you treat the orphans or the yatim. Because orphan is not a really proper word for that. It's fatherless children in the Arabic. Fatherless children. So that expands it beyond the 400,000 when we talked about this in foster care system, that expands it to the 18 plus million people here that have fatherless, no fathers in the home. And when we see success stories, we want to highlight and praise those success stories. Okay, this young man didn't have a father, but he got into college. We want to raise that up. He became a doctor. He got his own business. The fact that he just got married and had family of his own, we want to raise that up and highlight that in our community. Share the success stories of individuals who have overcome adversity and achieved great things with the support and caring individuals in the community, emphasizing the transformative power of love and support. By focusing on this point, you can effectively convey the importance of community involvement in the lives of the yatim, foster children and fatherless children, inspiring others to take action to make a positive impact in their lives. The loss of fatherly guidance and support can have a profound impact on the overall development of fatherless children, as I mentioned before. Without the love, care, and guidance of parents, they may struggle with the feeling of abandonment, insecurity, and loneliness. I know I did. I was the only kid between my younger siblings had their dad, my oldest siblings had their dad, but I didn't have a dad. So I felt left out. They come, bring stuff for their kids. Nobody came for me. So, without the love, care, and guidance of parents, they may struggle with feelings of abandonment, insecurity, and loneliness. These challenges can affect their emotional, psychological, and spiritual well-being. Moreover, fatherless children, the yatim, often face financial difficulties. Not having a father can lead to significant decrease in household income. The median income of black women, they did according to blackdemographics.com. Even though it seems like they're out here balling and doing things, the median income is about $30,000. The median income of the black male is between $40,000 and $45,000 a year. The median income. Now, it costs $16,000 per year per child. So if she's making 30, she ain't making it. If she got more than one, she's struggling. She needs government assistance. That might not be enough. But if we come together and stop the battle of the sexes, and we come together and cooperate with each other and work together, now that 45 plus that 30, that's 75,000. That's 75,000. Y'all might can make it. You know what I'm saying? Even if she making 50 and you making 50, y'all put that, that's 100,000. It's less work when many hands come together and work together. Not having a father can lead to significant decrease in household income is my point, making it challenging to meet basic needs such as food, shelter, education, and even health care. Consequently, fatherless children may experience a lack of access to essential resources and opportunities at the crucial time in their growth and development. Recognizing the vulnerability of fatherless children, Islam places strong emphasis on their rights and responsibility of the community to support them. In numerous Quranic verses, Allah explicitly commands believers to care for the fatherless children, or the yatim, and protect their rights. There are several verses, as I mentioned before, that talk about these yatim children. Here are a few Quranic verses and hadith that highlight the importance of caring for fatherless children. Surah An-Nisa 4:10. Bismillah. Indeed, those who devour the property of fatherless children unjustly are consuming into their bellies fire, and they will be burned in a blaze. Woo-wee, that's serious. I think about people that's abusing the stepchildren or the kids in foster care, and how they had the kids locked up in the basement, wouldn't feed them and doing stuff, and the kid had to escape, the bones showing. Ooh, I hear this verse. They just filled their belly up with the blazing fire. They need to get down on their knees and repent for that after their jail time. But this verse emphasizes the severe consequences of exploiting the wealth or property of fatherless children, highlighting the need to protect their rights. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:220. And they ask you about fatherless children, the yatim. Say, improvement for them is best. So you're supposed to make their life better. Matter of fact, anything a Muslim do, we're supposed to make an improvement upon it. A neighborhood, your neighborhood should be better because you was there. But this verse encourages believers to strive for the betterment and well-being of fatherless children, the yatim, emphasizing the importance of actively working towards their welfare. Surah Ad-Duha, that's Surah 93, verse 9 through 11. Bismillah. So as for the fatherless child, do not oppress them. And as for the petition, do not repel them. But as for the favor of your Lord, report it. These verses emphasize the prohibition of mistreating or oppressing fatherless children, the yatim, and urge believers to show kindness and compassion towards them. I'm going to skip a couple of these because I'm just doing a whole bunch of verses. But let's talk about the hadiths. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I and the one who cares for a fatherless child, the yatim, will be together in paradise like this. And he held his two fingers together to illustrate it. You're going to be close with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam if you take care of the yatim, the fatherless children. Y'all going to be like this. And that's in Sahih al-Bukhari. This hadith highlights the immense reward and closeness to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam for those who care for fatherless children, the yatim, emphasizing the significance of their welfare. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the best house among the Muslims is one where a fatherless child, yatim, is well treated. And the worst house among the Muslims is one where a fatherless child, yatim, is badly treated. And that's in Sunan Ibn Majah. So, it's possible that Muslims can mistreat kids. Otherwise, this hadith wouldn't exist. However, the emphasis from the Prophet ﷺ is the best house amongst us is how we treat the yatim, fatherless children. These emphasize the importance of treating fatherless children with kindness and compassion, and identifies the treatment of fatherless children, the yatim, as a measure of a household's righteousness. These Quranic verses and hadiths serve as reminders of the Islamic duty to care for fatherless children, the yatim, and protect their rights. They emphasize the severity of mistreatment, of fatherless children, the yatim, and highlight the immense rewards. You'll get punished for the mistreatment and the immense reward and blessing associated with providing love, care, and support to these vulnerable members of our society. These verses, along with others in the Quran, highlight the significance of caring for the fatherless children, yatim, in Islam. They emphasize the need for believers to treat fatherless children, the yatim, with kindness, justice, and love, recognizing their vulnerability, their vulnerable position in society, and the importance of providing for their physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. By following the teachings of Islam, Muslims can fulfill their obligation and contribute to a just and compassionate society. By acknowledging the fatherless children, the yatim, are vulnerable members of society, we can begin to understand the importance of providing them with love, care, and support. As Muslims, it is our duty to ensure that these children are not overlooked or neglected. By extending our help to fatherless children, the yatim, we fulfill one of the core principles of Islam, which is compassion and justice towards those in need. And I keep saying the word yatim so we can get that into our system. Yatim, these fatherless children. Not just orphans, and even beyond that, fatherless children. I will continue this in the second part of Khutbah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalimu ala rasulina Muhammadin Amin, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Translation: all praises are due to Allah, Lord of all the worlds. May the greetings and peace be upon the best messenger Muhammad, and upon his family, and upon all his companions. I greet you again in the ancient greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum. And the subject today again is Inqahu al-Falina al-Tani, or saving our fatherless children. Saving our fatherless children. In conclusion, fatherless children, the yatim in Islamic teachings, are defined as children who have lost their father or who don't have a father in their home. They are vulnerable members of society who require our attention and care, and recognizing their emotional, financial, and educational needs and fulfilling our responsibility towards them allows us to embody the compassionate and caring nature that Islam encourages and make us a just community. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, set an exemplary standard in his treatment of fatherless children, the yatim, demonstrating his deep compassion and care for them. His actions and teachings serve as a timeless model for Muslims to follow in supporting and nurturing fatherless children, the yatim. One incident that showcases the Prophet's compassion towards fatherless children, the yatim, is when a companion, Zayd ibn Haritha, came to him seeking advice on how to distribute his wealth. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, advised him to take care of his own family first, and then look after the fatherless children, the yatim. This advice highlights the importance of prioritizing the needs of fatherless children and ensuring their well-being. The noble character of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, serves as a guiding light for Muslims in their treatment of fatherless children, the yatim. His kindness, compassion, and love towards fatherless children, the yatim, serves as an inspiration to emulate his example. The Prophet Muhammad is the best example, as the Quran says. He's the best example to follow. Muslims are to encourage, to provide for the physical, emotional, spiritual needs of fatherless children, the yatim, ensuring that they are nurtured and given the opportunity to thrive. By following the Prophet's example, peace and blessings be upon him, Muslims can create a society that values and supports fatherless children, the yatim. We can lower gang violence and drive-by shootings and robberies and mass shootings. They say a lot of these lone wolves, they come shoot up the place. A lot of times these were kids or people that had nobody to care about them. In school, at home, nowhere. And they get in these silos and start getting to conspiracy theories, and they get out of their mind and they start shooting up the place. What if you was that one person that said hello to them? How you doing today? Gave them a hug. That might have prevented 20, 30 people's deaths right there. Muslims, by following the Prophet's example, Muslims can create a society that values and supports fatherless children, the yatim, providing them with the care and love and opportunities they deserve. It is through these actions that believers can honor the teachings of Islam and fulfill their duty toward the vulnerable members of society. Muslims have important responsibility towards fatherless children, the yatim, as outlined in the teachings of Islam. These responsibilities extend beyond providing mere financial assistance. That's important, but it's a little deeper than that. It encompasses emotional support, education, and creation of an inclusive and nurturing environment. Like I said, you don't have to legally adopt. You can be a spiritual adoptee, emotional adoptee, social. Firstly, it is crucial for the congregation to understand the significance of their role in supporting fatherless children, yatim. Muslims are encouraged to provide emotional support, becoming a source of love and care and guidance for fatherless children, the yatim. This can be done through acts of kindness, spending quality time with them, offering a listening ear, ensuring they feel valued and supported, maybe a Boy Scouts, camping, take a bunch of kids camping or something, get a tent, take them out. They will remember that. They will remember you. And they'll associate your good character with Allah. They see you doing your salah, being consistent in your prayers. They see your good character. They associate that with Allah. They say, what? I can't. They start talking about Muslims. They're like, I don't know. The Muslim I know used to take us camping. The Muslims I know used to bring me a plate. Used to see me hungry. Used to bring me a plate. Now, that's good, but financial support is also essential. Muslims are encouraged to contribute financially to the welfare of fatherless children, yatim, and their education. This can be achieved through regular charitable giving, sponsoring an orphan or fatherless child, donating to organizations that provide assistance to fatherless children, the yatim. By fulfilling this duty, individuals and the community can help provide the necessary resources for the well-being and development of fatherless children, the yatim. Additionally, fostering an environment that ensures fatherless children are not stigmatized or neglected is vital as well. Congregations should work together to create a society that treats fatherless children and their yatim with dignity and respect. This can be achieved by raising awareness about the needs and the rights of fatherless children, the yatim, challenging stereotypes, and promoting inclusive attitudes within the community. By doing so, the congregation can help eliminate the stigma associated with being a fatherless child, the yatim, ensure that these children feel accepted and valued. A lot of times we see bad behavior in the child. We don't think of them, oh, they yatim, and they need our support. We say, oh, they just bad. They're just bad. Sometimes they just need somebody to talk to. There's times where nobody can control a kid but me. People come get me because their kid is, I build a relationship with them and now they respect me. It's about building relationships. If you build relationship with these yatim, they will learn respect. In Maryland, my homeboy used to rent a van, make some sandwiches, and he was to go to the corner boys and hand them sandwiches. Where everybody else was scared of the boys because they all got their blick, their gun with them, selling drugs. The society looked at him like Iblis looked at Adam. They were nothing but dust. But Allah said, I know what you do not know. So he recruited me on his efforts. And Will Gibbs, I was like, man, you sure? I don't know about giving sandwiches on the block. Yeah, he would go out and have them sandwiches in the middle of the night. Next you know, the mass shit was full. Mass shit was, parents was, their Christian parents, they were coming there and protesting. Why you got my kid up coming up in the mass shit? They were coming in and protesting because the mass shit was full of these kids. Just from getting sandwiches. To practically support fatherless children, individuals and the